Will Donghua ever beat anime? In recent years, Donghua has gained massive popularity due to its stunning animation, unique cultural storytelling, and deep world-building rooted in Chinese mythology, fantasy, and web novels. The rise of platforms like Bilibili and global licensing through Crunchyroll has made it more accessible than ever, helping it build a growing international fan base. But despite all this, there's still something missing. Today on Rollipop TV, we're going to explore why Donghua still struggles to surpass anime, even with such high-quality production. And to understand this better, let's take a closer look at a recently hyped title, Lord of the Mysteries. For the past few months, I've been seeing constant buzz about LOTM on Reddit. People kept recommending it, saying it's god level, telling everyone to go watch it. It got to a point where I felt like I had to check it out myself. So I did a little research and found out that Lord of the Mysteries is actually based on a Chinese web novel written by Cuttlefish that loves diving, and it's already hugely popular in China. It got adapted into a Donghua, which premiered on June 28th, and even before its release, the excitement was everywhere. At first, I was confused because Crunchyroll lists the title as Lord of the Mysteries, but everyone online kept calling it LOTM. Eventually, I realized it's just more unique and catchy than something generic like LOM. I didn't overthink it too much and jumped straight into watching. The first 2 episodes dropped together, each around 35 minutes long. If you're used to anime's pacing, this might feel a bit slow and stretched. Plus, the dialogue is in Mandarin, so the tone may sound unfamiliar. From what I know, 12 more episodes are lined up, so the season is only just beginning. But with the hype at its peak, I had to experience it while the buzz was fresh. The show opens with nearly 70 minutes of content, so right away, you know the 3-episode rule applies. I sat down and watched it in one go. From the very first scene, I felt overwhelmed. You're dropped into an unfamiliar world with no explanation of how it works, what its history is, or what any of the systems are. Most shows take time to ease you in, build the world step by step, introduce the power systems gradually, or use a simple plot point to ground the viewer. Here, everything hits you at once, and when you're dealing with such a dense world, balance is everything. Too much info at once feels like a dump, too little, and the viewer is lost. Unfortunately, Lord of the Mysteries leans into the confusing side. You have to stay completely alert to make sense of what's happening, connect the dots, and understand the setup. One challenge I personally faced was with the subtitles. The show is in Mandarin, and sometimes the character says a short line, but the subtitle stretches into a full sentence. That messes with your viewing pace, and you end up rewinding just to catch up. It takes you out of the experience. After finishing both episodes, I looked into it and found that the pacing was indeed the problem. They condensed 40 chapters from the novel into just 2 episodes. That explains why it felt so rushed. There's too much crammed into too little time, which ends up hurting the experience. From what I could gather, the story is set in a world inspired by Victorian-era aesthetics. The fashion, the architecture, the transportation, all of it resembles the 19th century Gothic era. The atmosphere is dark and mysterious, and the visuals are filled with 3D CGI. But this isn't bad CGI. In fact, it's one of the best implementations of CGI I've seen in either Chinese or Japanese animation. The environments are in 3D, while the characters are fully 2D animated. The blend is seamless. The compositing is excellent. Sometimes the background feels like a high-end video game, but the 2D character animation is smooth, detailed, and fluid. It never feels like the animators took shortcuts. Frame transitions, dynamic camera angles, everything is executed with precision. There are moments where the visuals overwhelm you with their detail. Dreamlike sequences, intense visual effects, fluid transitions. It all adds up to an immersive experience. Lord of the Mysteries definitely stands out visually. And while some viewers might find the style different or not to their taste, the level of commitment from the creators is undeniable. This is high-level work. Now, let's talk about the power system. This is where things get even more complex. In this world, there are people called Beyonders who gain powers by drinking a special potion. These powers are divided into 22 different pathways, each acting like a power class. Within each pathway, there are 10 sequences that represent levels. Everyone starts at sequence 9, the lowest, and climbs upward. Sequence 0 is God level. But the process isn't simple. Drinking a potion doesn't guarantee success. There's a high risk of corruption. You can lose your mind or even your body. It's a gamble, not a shortcut. The system is fascinating, but here's the issue. You only learn about 60 to 70% of this in the show, and that too only if you're paying very close attention. The remaining 20 to 30% requires you to go outside the show, search forums, read fan wikis, and do your own research. And that's not a good thing. When we watch anime, we do it to unwind, to enjoy, to feel something. We explore the lore later, only when we love it. But here, the viewer is forced to research just to understand the basics. That turns watching into work, and naturally, the response to such shows becomes poor. Now, about the actual plot. The story begins with the main character waking up in a house where he finds a gun and a strange book. It looks like he may have shot himself earlier. Outside his home, 2 influential people are found dead, and the police arrive to investigate. But the protagonist has no clue what's going on. He doesn't know how this world works, what the powers are, or why anything is happening. That's because he's not from this world. He was just a regular guy from Earth. One day, he performs a ritual and ends up transported into this dark and mysterious universe. That's right, it's an isekai. Now, his goal is to find a way back home while figuring out how this strange world operates. The kingdom he's trapped in has secrets of its own, especially around the king and the political power structure. So yes, there's a lot going on. And if you think this summary spoiled the whole thing, it didn't. There's still so much more to unpack. If you watch the show and fully understand everything in one go, then come back and tell me. Because the pacing is so rapid, you barely get a moment to breathe. And I'm serious when I say this. If the pacing isn't fixed, it could completely ruin the potential of this Donghua. This is a critical issue, and we've seen similar cases like the beginning after the end suffer because of it. Great story, bad execution. By looking at Lord of the Mysteries, we understand why Donghua still hasn't reached the same level as anime on the global stage. The core issue is pacing. When you rush through layered world building, deep lore, and character development in just a few episodes, even the most breathtaking animation can't save the viewer from getting confused. Until creators learn to balance depth with clarity, Donghua will always fall just a bit short of matching the emotional and narrative grip that anime delivers. But what I will suggest to you is to read the web novel, which has 1,432 chapters. It's a bit lengthy, but I finished it in just 3 days. And this is my honest review. Go read it now. It's one of the best fucking things you'll ever read. That's it for today. If you liked this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you next week.